Hey guys, it's about 11:50. I'm 8 minutes into my lunch. It's an unusual lunch schedule today because basically it's an 8-hour shift, and usually I'm supposed to go to lunch around 12:30, but go figure. Anyway, 'cause, I'm off at 5:30. But anyway, gotta come on here and kind of talk about something that really really has got wrestling fans kind of talking a little bit after Money in the Bank. He's got, wrestling fans talking after Money in the Bank. And that is the fact that Alexa Bliss is once again the champion. That not only did Alexa Bliss win the Money in the Bank briefcase for the women, but she cashed in the same night to once again become Raw Women's Champion for the third time, and thus overall become a 5-time Women's Champion in just a short time in WWE's main roster. But that's not all. The other thing a lot of people were talking about was the fact that Carmella had beat Asuka thanks to the help of James Ellsworth. So the question is, what is WWE doing by having the two, as some people put it, by having the two least in-ring competitors? In other words, basically, what is WWE doing by having the two less experienced in-ring competitors becoming champion? What is WWE doing by having Carmella remain SmackDown Women's Champion and now having Asuka be the Raw Women's Champion for the third time? Well, some people have come up with their theories, come up with explanations, from what they've heard, from what they can speculate. Some have said that the reason Alexa is now champion again is because Nia couldn't cut it. Nia couldn't really hold herself very well as the champion when it would come to cutting promos, selling a match, selling a title offense. She couldn't cut it. Although some might argue and say, well, she did decently with her promo on the Raw before Money in the Bank. And I understand that. But still, even though she might have had some glimpses here and there, a lot of people felt that Nia just wasn't cutting it like they were hoping for. So that's why they put it back on Alexa. Another reason is it's a little too soon for Ronda. And if they're going to give the belt to Ronda, they don't want to give it to her on a B-level pay-per-view. They want to give it to her. They want to give it to her on a A-level pay-per-view, basically one of the big four. In this case, being Summerslam. Now, basically, that's what some people were probably speculating as to why Alexa got the belt again. Because even though she may not be good in the ring, promo-wise, she is like one of the very best in the business. It's like she could talk the talk, but unless she has the right dance partner, she can't walk the walk. It's like she could talk the big game, but she can't really follow it up as best as she could. Same goes for Carmella. Carmella can talk a good talk, she just can't back up the walk. So why would WWE go in the direction and keeping the championships or putting the championships on these two? It's real simple. I told Deluxe Man something in a super chat during his Money in the Bank review. I said that Carmella is a diva, is from a story perspective, and I think we can all see this. Carmella is a diva playing wrestler or pretending to be a wrestler. That's from a story and character perspective. You can see that with Carmella. She's trying to be she's basically being a diva trying to pretend to be a wrestler. And from a character and story perspective, everybody from the fans to the fellow women wrestlers on Smackdown and on Raw, they could see that she is anything but a women's wrestler. And the same could be said for Alexa. Some would say that they see more of a diva trying to be a wrestler or pretend to be a wrestler or try to be a wrestler than she actually is. The only difference the two might give them is Alexa at least looks like she's trying to be a wrestler. She's trying to transition from being a diva to a wrestler, but she still acts more diva-ish than anything else. So again, the question would be, why put the belt back on them then? Or why keep the belt on Carmella? Why put the belt back on Alexa? Because if WWE is planning inevitably to get the belts on Charlotte and Ronda, or Asuka and Ronda, and then eventually Charlotte, what have you, you need two women that still represent the one thing the company is trying to get the women's division away from, and that's the divas. And that's a very diva-ish look or image. They're trying to separate the women's division that you see on both brands, on all three brands. They're trying to separate it from that diva-ish image it still retains. So you might be asking yourself, well, how are they going to do this? Real simple. If they don't do it at Extreme Rules, which they may do it with one, then they're definitely for both going to do it at Summerslam. And they're going to do it in a way that's going to be very satisfactory to everybody in Brooklyn, to everybody watching on WWE Network and on pay-per-view. What they're going to do is basically have the women that they go up against, in this case it could be Ronda Rousey and maybe Asuka, or maybe Asuka and Charlotte, what have you, basically have the women that they go up against squash them. In other words, if you have Carmella go up against Charlotte at SummerSlam, basically you don't want to repeat Backlash over again. You don't want to do that. Instead, you want to basically give the fans what they want to see, and that's Carmella getting squashed, Carmella getting exposed. The same could be said for Alexa. You have Alexa by herself go up against Ronda. Everybody expects that to be an automatic squash, because you can have Ronda expose Alexa for the fraud she is. And I wouldn't put it past WWE to actually have Ronda come out and say something like that on Raw. Have Ronda say, building up to the match, promo-wise, because Ronda, she's getting better. She's getting better on the mic and all that. And again, just like in-ring abilities or in-ring matches, she's got to make sure she has the right partner to bounce off of. You could have Ronda in a promo with Alexa, basically say that at SummerSlam she's going to expose Alexa for the fraud that she is, because all she sees in Alexa is a diva pretending to be a wrestler. So, and the same could be said with Carmella. Whoever you have Carmella go up against at SummerSlam, whether it's Asuka or Charlotte, you could have them feel the same way. Like, they could say, you know what? They can even quote Ronda. They can say, you know what Ronda said on Raw is, you can have Charlotte. You can have Charlotte come out if she's challenging Carmella, or Asuka's challenging Carmella, and you could have them both acknowledge what Ronda said the night before and say, hey, look, what Ronda says she's going to do to Alexa, and expose her for who she really is, we're going to do the same to you, Carmella, and we're going to show the world that you're nothing more than that you and Alexa are exactly what Ronda say you are. You're nothing more than divas pretending to be wrestlers. So I could see, so basically when you get down to it, the decisions may not be the most popular decisions in the world. That's a fact. They may not be the most popular decisions in the world, but from a story-wise perspective, character and story-wise perspective, it works. Because you're going to want to see someone that's a legit fighter or a legit athlete go in there and on one of the biggest shows of the year, preferably SummerSlam, in front of a very hostile Brooklyn crowd. You're going to want to see those two champions get squashed, get the comeuppance, and basically maybe transition out of the title picture for a while until they probably improve in-ring wise. Well, basically until they probably improve in-ring wise. I mean, I could see Alexa, because it looks like they're teasing something between her and Braun. I could see Alexa going a little bit of a babyface route and becoming Braun's manager or his valet or whatever you want to call it. And at the same time, and like I said, at the same time, have Braun behind the scenes, if he's Universal Champion or he's still waiting to cash in, have Braun train her to get better in the ring. Storyline wise, it works because Alexa's helping Braun, probably keep the title or at least accompany him to keep an eye out for any trouble. And in return, he's training her to be better in the ring. So, there's reasonings for certain things happening. There's a reason certain things are happening the way they are. Again, you could have easily, WWE could have easily gave Ronda the belt at Money in the Bank, but it's more impactful if she takes it off somebody that pretty much, unlike Nia, is everything the WWE is against. The WWE Women's Division, Women's Revolution, everything that Ronda Rousey, that wanted to be part of this, is against, and that's a diva. And that's the divas. That's the diva-ish look or image that still, hovers over the women's division. The same with Carmella. There's a reason she's still the champion. The reason being is because they're building up whoever it's going to be, whether it's Charlotte or Asuka. They're building them up. Sorry about that. That's what I don't like. Sometimes I do these in public. People will do that. But like I said, the building, they're doing the same thing for Carmella. Basically, they're going to build whoever they're going to build between Charlotte, Asuka, whoever they choose, to go up against Carmella at SummerSlam, beat her, and get the championship off her. Because of the fact that, fans, let's be honest, fans could cheer and get behind Carmella and all that, and they could cheer and get behind Alexa, but they're only cheering and getting behind them because not of their in-ring abilities, no, but because of the promo work, because of the fact that they carry promos, and by carrying those promos, they can help carry the story or feud they're involved in. And fans will eat that up. Fans will eat it up to the point that when you finally get these two in the ring against whoever their opponents are at SummerSlam, in the case of Alexa, it's Ronda Rousey, and in case of Carmella, it's either Charlotte or Asuka, if not both. You're gonna want to pay to see them get the comeuppance, get the butts kicked, and have the titles taken away from them, because pretty much you take the titles away from Carmella, you take the title away from Alexa, and you're basically removing that cloud, that shadow known as that diva-ish image that hovers over the women's division currently. You finally take that one last shroud, that one last shadow that's hovering over it, and you remove it from the women's revolution, you remove it from the women's division, and you got a clear path to now actually have a more legit, authentic women's wrestling division or so in your company that can be taken seriously. Because if you constantly have the same person on top, or you constantly have somebody that acts more diva-ish than as a women's wrestler, both ways, in both scenarios, you're going to want to see them get the comeuppance. You're going to want to see them finally get removed from that picture. And what WWE is doing is they're positioning the right women on both brands to do just that. I mean, think about it. They're already kind of starting this scenario in NXT with Shayna Baszler as the champion. Whether you like Shayna Baszler or you don't, they're doing that with her, and it's working. The reason it's working is because Shayna is legit. She's a legit badass, and she's basically making it feel very realistic. Like, hey, yeah, I'll go. Like, and what I mean by realistic is like, Shayna will go in there against anybody, defend against anybody, even if they kind of freak her out, and she'll be like, she won't sweat it that much. She'll be like, I'm gonna take this woman, I'm gonna beat her, and that's it. She backs up what she says. And again, this whole situation, they're already starting with Shayna. So they're going to want to follow up on it on the main roster. And that's why, I know I sound like I'm rambling a lot here, so I'm going to wrap this up. But that's why Alexa and Carmella have the belts right now, because they want to position them to the point that when it comes to Summerslam, most likely, not only will they get squashed by whoever they defend against and drop the belts, but they, by being defeated and losing their titles, will be basically the result of that final shroud of known as the Diva image being removed from the women's revolution, the women's wrestling divisions of WWE once and for all. Like there'll be no more, basically no more diva-like competitors will ever touch these championships ever again. That's why they keep the championships on the two, or put the championships on the two ladies as we speak, because they want to build them up to that moment. You get them on a bigger stage like SummerSlam, you get a bigger reaction, and fans are going to eat it up. The moment Alexa and Ronda tie it up, Alexa's going to try her best to get away, or try to slap her and then try to get away, but the way they're building Ronda up, all she has to do, as soon as that bell rings, Alexa's going to try to slap her and run. But Alexa, the moment that happens, and she tries to slap, Alexa's going to get her arm caught, and basically that's it. The moment Alexa goes like this, right at the end, and tries thinking, okay, I'll slap and then I'll run out of the ring, they're building it to the point that Ronda's going to grab that arm and basically put it right into the arm bar, and that's it. Alexa is done. She's no longer champion after that. Carmella is a different story. The moment they put her in the ring with someone like either both Asuka and Charlotte or one or the other, it's going to just take a moment of cockiness or some kind of interference on Ellsworth's part, if he's still there, to backfire and cost her the match and cost her the title. So that's what's going to happen. Basically, they're setting them up to have major falls, to be squashed. And again, though, like I said, when it comes to someone like Alexa, it's going to benefit her more, because they might go the babyface route with her, and they'll probably have this angle they're possibly going to do with her and Strowman work to her benefit, because from a story perspective, not only can she be there to support and maybe watch Braun's back, but she could also be there, but in return, Braun can help her get tougher and better in the ring. And as for Carmella, I could see Carmella trying to get better in the ring, but I could see her basically after her run being reduced back to more of a valet in the ring than she is, as a competitor. Basically, I could see her going in becoming a manager of either Ellsworth if he's still around, or maybe even Big Cass. So again, I could see that happening. I just don't know if it will. But I think that would be the route they're going to go with Carmella. So, and you got to remember also, Carmella's on a show where the general manager is the anti-diva of WWE in Paige. And the last thing she's going to want is a diva as her champion, as her brand's champion. So, yeah, they're going to work. So basically, they're going to work towards something. Because, like I said in my Money in the Bank review, when they set up the match on television, Carmella basically told Paige right off the bat, "I'm not defending my title. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not defending my title." That's more diva-ish than women's wrestler. Heck, I even super chatted with Dilexman, and I said, Carmella to bring back Diva's title story. And the Lexman said Carmella's the kind that would be positioned and written to do just that. Because think about it. Carmella, from a heelish character standpoint, if she feels everybody thinks she's more diva than wrestler, she can capitalize on that and say, okay, you're right, I am more diva than wrestler, and I've got just the proof, and I just got the evidence to prove it. And you could have her pull out the Divas Championship and say something that along the lines of, as long as I'm champion, this is the championship I'm defending. I'm not defending that women's championship, I'm defending the Divas Championship. So that could work, and they'll want to see, and by doing something like that, you'll want to see whoever she goes up against kick her butt more so than it already could be. But more so, like I said, more so than it already could be. So, will they go that route with Carmella to give her more heat? Who knows? But basically, the point is, and I'm going to wrap this up. The point is, the reason Carmella and Alexa are on top right now is they're being set up for a major fall come SummerSlam. Come SummerSlam, they both will be squashed in the matches in some shape or form, and they will lose the belts, and they will not be near those championships for quite a while, because they still represent what the company wants to get the division away from, and that's diva-ness, or diva. See, that car didn't even stop. But like I said, that's basically what the company wants to get the women's division away from, and that's the diva image. So the diva-ishness of the division. They want to get away from that, and the best way to do it is finally to put the nail in the coffins of Carmella and Alexa reign of terror as champion at SummerSlam, and I think that's what they're building towards. So I could be wrong, but I think that's the path we're heading on. I mean, they could rectify one of those by Extreme Rules, which most likely would be Carmella, but I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to wait till SummerSlam to do so. So that's really all I could say on it. I've got to get me something to eat because I am on lunch, and I will talk to y'all later. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. But in my opinion, that's why Alexa and Carmella are the champions right now, because WWE is planning for them to drop the belts in a big way, mostly a big major way, a la being squashed at SummerSlam. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to y'all later.